Welcome to EGO NetCast. I am Martin Lindeskog. Hi, Jonathan, and hi, Sydney. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Yes.
Hello again. Good. You're all there. So we talked in the green room about all kind of things. So what's on your mind, Sydney? Or Sid for short.
What's on my mind today? What is on my mind today is I've been thinking about the power of thoughts. And I've been listening to old Michael Jackson tunes. Yep. So that's what's on my mind at this very moment. I'm talking to you. I actually, I didn't know whether this was going to be on camera or not, so I was getting ready. So I look lovely. By
okay. Okay. Please make a selfie, because when we could use that in when we publish it. That's one of the reasons why I have a radio show, audio, because I don't look lovely like you probably.
No,
and I can't speak for Jonathan, but he is looking smashing, I think.
Yeah, he looks lovely. So, I think it's you have to look lovely first inside, but
that's true.
You have to look as lovely as you feel.
But talking about that, I must say, when I did some listening here on you and on Apple Music, I saw an official video with roses, and then I got blown away by your beauty there. So please tell about that video.
Oh, you're so cute. Thank you so much. Yeah. Roses when I was like 20, right? In the red dress. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
That was my hit record, Roses, and it's a song that I'm known for around the world. And the particular video was fun because I had all my friends. I was a professional dancer before that. I used to dance on a show called Top of the Pops. So when I always wanted to have a hit single, and I told all my friends they could be in the video if I did. So that was really fun. All my friends were in it. And we all went out afterwards, and I got my red rubber dress from down the King's Road. It's very exciting.
And talking about dancing, I have to put that in before we're starting with the searches, because you have this artist name, short, like similar to Rosalla. You have a name, you're Haywoode, if I pronounce it right.
Yes.
But with the spelling there with an E at the end. But one result that showed up on Wikipedia is Benny Hill. So please tell about that. I don't know if everyone knows about it, and this is not politically correct to say, but I loved that show. I thought it was funny during that time. And then you had some lovely ladies running after Benny Hill and vice versa. So could you tell about that?
If you watch I was 16 years old. I mean, I went to a performing arts school, so I've been working since I was 13 in some capacity or other. But I got that. I booked Benny Hill show when I was 16. And anybody that watches those shows will notice that I am not the one being chased by Benny Hill, because I was adamant that I was not really into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was hired because he was doing a little skit with based on a group called Hot Gossip. And in the 80s, this very raunchy group with they used to be on the Kenny Everett show, was called Hot Gossip. And all the girls were very sexy with like stockings and suspenders. And then they were all of different colors of white. And then the boys were black. So I got booked to be one of the black boys, and all the Benny Hill and his people all dressed up as the scantily dressed girls. So that's why I was booked initially. And then I did a couple of episodes. You know, I once played a vacuum cleaner. I played a maid, actually, when the electrical appliances were taking over the earth and killing them, and I got killed by a vacuum cleaner. And, various things like that.
Okay. And this is, as I said, a serious show, but we have to have fun. And during this time, and for me, today, it's a sad day, you could say. The memories 9 and 11. And we should remember and not forget that and not forgive. So, but also as all going around. But as I said, to light up, and also that this is not politically correct to say that you watched that and enjoyed it. And I think that says something about thinking and thoughts. but we have freedom of expression and freedom of thought. Then you could have what kind of taste you have, and you could have an intellectual discussion about it. But I like your approach, and you're not hiding from it, and it's there on the net. So one on DuckDuckGo, there they had, I didn't watch or search on it more, but they had a special Benny Hill fandom site where probably you could learn everything about that show. So it's fun what you could find. Going back to searches on your, when I searched on Sydney, Haywoode, I found, and that was the precise search. Then I found 986 results on Wikipedia, videos, discography, and with all your records and the songs, and then something called Academic, a site, Amazon, Spotify, Rate Your Music, Wiki Visually. I haven't heard about that site before. So it's on Wikipedia, but with visuals. And then Musicum in Australia, and talk about pop music. So it's very much about music. And then when I searched on Sid Haywoode, then I got 17,000 results. And there it was this Benny Hill fandom. And then the other name that you had, and then Facebook, and then on sites in Sweden, auction sites on different records that they have done. And on this Wikipedia, there, when you had one of the records there in the beginning, it could cost, what was the price? $800 in Amazon in Japan? Is that was that a smash hit?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting what you're saying, because I can't even get my head around the whole search thing. I don't even. I mean, I get overwhelmed. I've never tried to see. So that information.
This is the ego surfing, that you search on your own name.
I've never really done that. But actually, in fact, when Google first came out and everything, I was like horrified that the prospect that people could look into your life like that. But when you're a performer, you have to kind of eat it up. But it's mind blowing.
And even more mind-blowing is when you search on your artist name, like similar to Rosalla, Haywoode. Then I get 79,000 results. So that's impressive. And there you have a Twitter handle, so I probably will tweet you. Jonathan, that's how we met. Jonathan sent me a direct message. He is very good at social media. I'm only so-called joking, advising others to use it, but I know a thing or two. But I again say it for the record, it was a nice gesture by Jonathan, and that led to have a conversation with Rosalla together with Jonathan. And that's the power of the internet. And so I shared that I listened to the latest single there, Magnificent. So, and on that way it led. So I'm very happy about that. And probably I will do similar to you if you are on Twitter. And we can continue the conversation there.
I love that.
There it was also a site on official charts. And then Cherry Red Records. Is that also a physical record store in London? Is that true?
Oh, I've lost
because I have some memory when I visit London that I went to a record store. Then it was vinyl.
I have lost you.
Outside London. And I think it was Cherry Red Records, but I'm not sure.
Yes. Yeah, they're a record company that they put out a couple of compilations. Oh, and then getting back to that $800 thing. I think that's why it was for my first album, Arrival, that it was only available in vinyl. So people were selling it for that much on the black market, and if you call it the black market. So that prompted them to put out a special edition of my first album, Arrival, on CD. And then that did really well. So then they did another one called Roses, Remixes and Rarities, which is based on all the recordings. A lot of remixes of my song Roses and a lot of songs that I hadn't even released with the Sony records. So that was what that was about. So that's my connection with them.
That's great. And as you said, the market, it's supply and demand. And it's interesting, the interest then with the vinyl, how it become popular again. So,
yes.
I think that's good. And then I searched on DuckDuckGo, this alternative search engine, and I found you on the Internet Movie Database. and Last FM, and also an auction site in Sweden called Ginza. That was it's a mail order service for recordings and so on. So that's interesting to find you there too.
Wow.
And going back
Martin.
to Wikipedia, there you have this Wonderlick Productions. Could you tell you about your production company and also your partner there in Soundshine?
Yes.
Sound Insane.
I love that. I'm going to call him Sunshine from now on. I love that. He's my sunshine. I met my husband 13 years ago. It was our anniversary, 12-year anniversary on Sunday, actually. And the moment I met him, he's actually like 16 years younger than me, which I'm very, very proud of. He just wanted to, just really encouraged me to start recording again. And he is a music producer, writer himself. And so we formed a company called Wonderlick Productions, which is just everything music related. We write songs for other artists, for help upcoming artists. We do music for events. And we're based in Miami. We met in New York, but we're based in Miami. So we started the company in New York and then moved to Miami. He also DJs. And so we it's events and music. So that's Wonderlick Productions. And it's always growing. It's a really fun thing. And, we work together. We have our separate careers, but we love writing together. I have a secret love for pop music, and he has his love is for hip hop music. And together we create magic. And he's Italian. That's another amazing thing, which is why I'm here at the moment.
You don't want any more than that.
You cannot ask for any more than that, really.
No.
Can you?
No.
Okay.
But you told then about your Sound Insane, your partner.
Sounds insane, yeah.
Yeah, sounds insane. And I listened to Look My Way before we started here, and I liked that song. So could you tell a bit about that?
Sure. That song, actually, I have done some recordings with Stock Aitken and Waterman. Back in the day, I did Getting Closer with them and a song called You Better Not Fool Around. And so Look My Way, as I was getting my 80s show together, a friend of mine had told me about Look My Way, and I had found out that they had written that song for me back in the 80s, but I had not, nobody presented it to me personally. And so I hadn't heard it, and they passed on it. And Kylie Minogue recorded it as a more R&B type track. So when I heard it, I put it in my set, in my 80s set, and just really loved it and got a good reaction, good feedback on it. So decided to put it out as a single with Energize Records and make a video. And it was like a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
The video is awesome. I really like the colours and everything in that video, with all the street art and everything in the background as well.
Yeah, we did that in an area in Miami called Wynwood, which is an area where all the artists live. And all the walls are like painted, and so yeah, it was fun, and we did it like very, very budget style, like doing costume changes in the back of a car, It was really fun.
Very rock and roll.
I know, very rock and roll. Using my friend's house and just having friends. It was just really, really a lot of fun. And a lot of love went into that because, I'm really blessed to be surrounded by like lovely people. I've got wonderful friends, and we all get creative together and support each other in whatever endeavors we're doing. So it's a lot of joy.
That's great. And could you find these videos and other stuff on your Wonderlick production site?
Actually, you find it on Haywoode Music on YouTube.
Okay, good. Yeah. So you have an official...
yeah, and Haywoode. Haywoode, yeah.
That's
Haywoode official.
Because that's... Yeah, and that's the thing, because I want to link to the official places on the net. Because it's a jungle out there when you try to find something. Are you on SoundCloud too?
Wonderlick Productions is on SoundCloud. I don't really have a strong presence on SoundCloud, but Haywoode Music on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. I'm just getting into Spotify now, which is interesting.
It is interesting. It's big. We have talked about, the whole industry and how you get paid and so on. And it's a startup, originally from Sweden. And it can become very big, and even in podcasting, like an alternative for Android users to listen to podcasts. So, what were you saying, Jonathan?
No, I was just going to say I'll email you the social media handles and everything after the interview, so you've got them.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we roll it here. So we'll keep this in the show also. So. Talking about, that's how Jonathan reached out to me in a very official way. By the way, here is another person that you should be interested in interviewing and could be interesting for your fans and for listeners. And you asked in the green room how this interview should be and how we do it. And we have a jolly good chat. But one of the topic was about all kind of things that's going on right now. And you had done a single there, and you called "We Got the Right." Could you give a bit of backdrop of it, and maybe we'll have some discussion, even a discourse, and maybe even a debate. We will see what this could lead to. So, shoot away.
Well,
Sydney.
Actually, first of all, I love the whole idea about discussion, right? So kind of like, that's really like the aim of this record, actually. And this single, it's very different from other things I've done, in a sense that it's, I don't know if you want to call it political, I call it social. And it's about my feelings about what's going on in this, in America with the killings of Black people. And it was really born out of the fact that the day before, I had heard about this woman in the park, in Central Park, who called the police on a guy that was there bird watching, wanting to bird watch. And she was filmed like saying, "I'm going to call the police on you. I'm going to call the police on you." And so he started filming, and she then, while being filmed, was like, "This Black man is he's going to hurt me." So the whole thing was seen. So I heard about that the night before. Then the next day, I heard about George Floyd. My husband told me. And I didn't want to even watch the video, because every time someone gets killed like that by the police, and I live in Miami, so that is Southern America. It's different from when we lived in New York. I kind of just get upset, and I never used to watch the news because I just didn't want to face it. I just used to feel really sad. But this particular day with George Floyd was, I was just really gutted by it, and I hadn't even seen the video. And I called a friend to see how he was doing. And he said, "Sid, as a Black woman, you have to watch that video." So I did. I watched the video. Then I went out for a walk with my husband. And, in Florida, the whole response to the coronavirus has really been no response. We kind of had a lockdown for a couple of weeks, but people were never really. And then the whole mask wearing thing became really, you couldn't go outside, and people like wanted to cough on you. And then somebody literally did cough and spit at me. And walked past, spat at me, then just walked away laughing. And my response was kind of muted at the time. But when I went home, I was very upset about everything, the combination of everything. And I'm a Buddhist, so I started chanting kind of in tears, like, what am I supposed to do with all this stuff, And then that song was born. It came out in my head, and me and Sound said, let's lay it down straight away. So that was my response. And it really is about affirming to myself that I have a right to be a human being, and affirming that I can't keep my head ignoring it. Like, I'm not going to watch the news. I'm not going to rock the boat. I can't really do that anymore, especially recognizing that I come from a mixed race family. My grandmother was a Lithuanian Jew. My great grandfather escaped from Lithuania and was an elder in the synagogue. And I was brought up Jewish. I went to Jewish school, and our family was fragmented because of the fact that my white grandmother married a Nigerian trumpet player. So, and I think that I always romanticized that whole story. So it's been a really awakening for me, and it is different, and it's kind of, we self-released it because, of course, some people don't want to, I am happy, Sid. I'm always happy. But I think that this has been a great exploration, along with the whole thing with the coronavirus and what's going on in the States, because it is real for me. It's real for my friends. If my friends go for a jog, they might bump into the wrong person. If I walk down the street I mean, I saw pictures the other day in Florida with these guys with rifles, you know, just trolling the streets. It's a real, it is a,
and
it's
also
a reality.
the mob in the street now, the so-called anti-AFA and vandalizing and mobbing and it's all as an American in spirit. I'm sad about the situation, and it's good. It's good that you talk about your background and so on and upbringing, because I start a new show called The Secular Foxhole, and I'm not a religious person. I believe in science and rationality. And it's up to every person to have their own religion, as long as you don't force it to somebody else.
Exactly.
And we talked about this in America, what's going on, and we should have a separate between church and state, because that's very important. So it's good that you talk about this. So I will include that in the show notes also, because we have to see on the bright side also the opportunities, possibilities, but also talk about what's happening now. And that's why I liked your statement there. A great human revolution in just a single individual will help achieve a change in the whole nation or something like that. And I believe in that. So Miss Rand, that subscribed to her philosophy objectivism, she fled or left Russia and came to America. And there she talked about individualism and reason and how to create a free society. And what we see now, it's all, it's this collectivism that you put people in different tribes or classes or whatever, and put them against each other. So I will include also that we will interview my now new co-host and blogger, Blair, about we will have an interview with Andrew Bernstein, that is an author and a philosopher and a radical for capitalism, and he has written novels and so on. And he had written an essay on racism, and it was I got chills when I read it. I mean, America has a history of that, but also a history of individual rights and also what the solution could be. So I recommend everyone to read that, because what I see now, it is all lives matters and all individual matters. So we shouldn't put groups against each other. We should think about the individual. I say, like, colorblind individualism should be the thing.
Can I just say something on that as well?
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah,
Jonathan.
It's like the actual track. We got the right as well, as we've been discussing. It is mainly aimed at a specific. It's mainly aimed at a specific topic. However, it could be that those lyrics are aimed at other things as well. I mean, like, say, gender, for example, whether you're like whether you're homophobic, not homophobic, whether you're gay, whether you're bisexual, whether you've been bullied, whether you've been abused. I myself have suffered in the past from walking down the street when I was many years ago of people like being homophobic towards me, and even a few weeks ago, I had a gentleman who gave me hand gestures because I tried to ask him to wear a mask because of the virus going on, and he'd not been asked by a conductor on the tram for an exemption pass, and he had the mask in his pocket, but decided to give me hand gestures as to say, like, well, you know, this is what I think of you, kind of thing. And I just thought that was really nasty, and there was no need for it.
Yep, I agree.
Going back to the whole thing with George Floyd as well. I don't know whether you've seen on the news in the past couple of days with the dance routine for diversity. They did a dance act that came from Britain's Got Talent about 10 years ago, I think it was, and they've been really successful over the years, performed to sell out West End crowds and things, and done numerous tours, and their dances are so spectacular, it's unreal. And then they put something out on Britain's Got Talent final, I think it was last week or the week before, and it was a dance to remember what had happened to George Floyd, and there's over 10,000 complaints that have gone to Ofcom about it, and Ofcom are thinking whether they should actually investigate on. I don't understand why people have complained about it, to be honest with you, because you would have thought in this day and age people would have moved on, but it looks like they haven't, and it upsets me when you get that amount of complaints for something, when especially from a black group who Diversity are as well are putting out there and saying, look, this is what actually happens to our kind of people. It shouldn't. I don't understand why people are complaining about it. I really don't. It's 2020.
But yeah, I agree with that. And a comment, and I again recommend people to read the essay by Andrew Bernstein. And he talk about the history, but also what's happening statistically wise with. And I see everyone as an individual, not color of their skin.
Yeah.
But there is an issue also what's happening between blacks and crimes and all this kind of thing. And that we should, as Sidney said, talk about and have discussion about. Because otherwise it will be, people who have certain agendas that want to stir up things. And I mean, I see almost like an anarchy state, and I'm afraid about that. I think we should have a secure state, a minimal state, but a secure state protecting our individual rights. And that's what you talk about in the song. Please let me be as an individual. I could drink, or I could dance, I could be myself.
Well, and that should
how it should be.
I just wanted to say two things. First of all, the human revolution, that quote is by a man called, a philosopher and peacemaker called Daisaku Ikeda. And what helped me a lot, and that is he's a Buddhist, but what helped me a lot was the way Buddhists feel. And I agree with you. First of all, as a Buddhist, I respect anybody's thoughts, no matter, because it's a personal thing. So, but it helped me a lot because he talked about, when we talk about thought and we talk about how I affect my environment, like the shadow, my environment is a reflection of my thoughts, my words, and my deeds, right? I'm reminded that actually, when we talk about science, every human being is made of the same stuff, right? That's the actual reality. And like you said, people like to put themselves in groups and close themselves off, etc. Me, from my point of view, when I wrote that song, like Jonathan said, it's actually, my deal is about systemic racism in the system that affects Black people, and the fact that Black people's lives right now are at risk in America. That's reality, right? So that's what I talk about, because that's what concerns me. That's the outfit I'm wearing. But then Jonathan might have something different, and you might have something different. We all have to stand up for ourselves and our humanity. So that's what that's about. Now, the thing about when people, I think that there are many things that we can read to educate ourselves. And from a Buddhist point of view, the Youth Division they do this podcast, the SGI USA do a podcast about racism with people that have experienced it, and what they're doing by changing themselves inside and learning how to be compassionate. Like, that's what I had to do. I'm compassionate towards that guy that spat at me, because he helped me to wake up. It's about what can I change about myself? It's about looking at myself and what are my biases? And how can I learn to listen to somebody else that has a different opinion? Maybe it might not be something I want to hear, but that's why I love these discussions. Right? We're listening to each other, and everybody has their own opinion. Now, when people start saying all life matters, because that's happened to me personally. When people are saying that, I ask them, why are you saying that? When I'm saying to you that I can, even in the last month, if you can count the people of color that are getting killed practically every week. And it's different when, a white guy can walk around with a rifle, but a Black person can't, and they're getting killed. So that's what it means when they're saying Black Lives Matters, right? So why are you saying to me all lives matters? Of course all lives matters, but actually Black lives don't actually all matter in the same way right now. So that's what I say to that, that all life matters, because really it's kind of understanding what somebody's intent, do they really mean that? So I think it's really for me about really, and I'm still learning, the art of really listening to understand why someone wants to put somebody else down, irrespective of why that is, just because they're different from them, because we are not different. But we have to understand that there are certain things going on, not just in America, in England too, in the system that prevents everybody being equal, whether they're of color, whether they're gay, whether they are different gender, whether they're trans. So I think that having discussions and talking to each other and respecting each other and having our own viewpoints, but really asking ourselves, are we respecting the dignity of that person? Are we putting ourselves in that person's shoes? That's kind of, what I wanted to say about that. So
yeah, and that's fine, and that's why I have this show. It's my show, and I have freedom of expression and freedom of speech, and I protect that very dearly, and I hope I will continue with that. But if some with views and opinions, and also with religions, could want me to stop me with that. So when I hear about what Jonathan been going through and I'm getting sad, and I mean that's for me also. If you say something, even if you could make, I mean, we should be able to make jokes and to talk about things and this kind of thing. And in certain things that's happening right now, it's getting that this, as I said before, political correctness or things that you're not allowed to say, but you should take consequences of your actions and what you're saying. But right now, I feel that it's getting harder and harder with that, and that's dangerous, because then a tyrant or a dictator or pressure from different groups could take power, and that's dangerous, and it doesn't solve any problem to go out in the streets and destroy things, destroy property, violence, and so on. That's not the solution, and so we have to talk about that.
I think it's really important. One of the things Daisaku Keita talks about is when we get information, like, I actually, Martin, it's been so interesting, like your knowledge of like searching and all this stuff is like, I really want to learn how to do that. One of the things he says is when we know that when we get information, where is that information coming from? Have we checked that information?
Yep.
Who is saying it? Why are they saying it? Because it's so easy to, and I don't know I know that I have discussions with my sister, right? And there are some people that will have discussions about Black Lives Matters, and she'll be like, well, no, they're doing this and that. And I'm like, have you checked the website? Do you know that was started by 3 women because a 14-year-old got killed? One of them.
I know.
But so one of the things that happens with systemic racism, and it's happened as I educate myself about Black history, even in England, but in America, is that there's a pattern. When power, when people, Black people, when they something becomes powerful or connects, what happens is, and it actually is not just with Black. If you look at Trump, he'll do it with everything, Then it gets called a name. So socialism is a dirty name. Like in America, they used to talk to me about, oh, you English, you all have bad teeth. They're saying you all have bad teeth because, you need to go to the dentist. You need to have braces when you grow up in America, at least when I used to be there. Everyone has braces. That's money, right? When you go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So even healthcare over there is all about money. So they healthcare is a dirty word. So now Black Lives Matters they're trying to make it a dirty word, but it doesn't matter. I'm actually not sad because I don't look, I think that the whole thing for me about being Buddhist, I don't look outside. I believe in the power of people, no matter who they are. We human beings, if we can choose hope and use our lives to kind of, you're doing it. And I agree with you that everyone should be able to express themselves. Everyone has a right. Every person has the right to express themselves. As long as, just in my opinion, as long as they're being respectful, and do you know what I mean? They're trying to create value. That guy that spat at me, he'll say he had the right to express himself. I don't agree with his expression in that case. You know what I mean?
No. But that's a violation. That's force in a way. So,
but the thing is, I used it to create value for myself. Now, I really do, because I have no hatred in my heart. I'm grateful for the things I learned because of that. You know, I wrote a song that I'm proud of, and I'm still learning. Every day I'm learning, and I can't ask anyone else to do things that I'm not prepared to do myself. So am I listening to you? Do I respect you? You know, even if we might disagree, am I willing to learn from you? Those are the things I need to work. And then do I have hope? And I do. I believe in human beings.
And that's good. And I do that also. I believe in free will. And that's what the thing. We all have free will. And it could be harder for some, and it could be harder upbringing and whatnot. And we could have talk about that. But if we don't believe in free will, and then it's over in a way. And that's what we have to talk about also.
Yes.
And the whole thing, I mean, you have to always do the fact check and see what if it's coming from mainstream media or alternative media or new media, whatever you want to call it. But also different groups, as a saying. It's even dangerous for me to say this kind of things a day like this, because maybe somebody will be offended and want to put me on some hit list or blacklist or whatever.
But why?
And it shouldn't be like that. But of course, again, we will always take consequences if we say something that's not true or some rumor, whatever. We have institutions for that to take care of it. But I see and I've followed what's happening, who is behind and who is try to get it even more violent, because they try to win some kind of that, but they will not. They will only destroy, and then it will be other things coming in the place. So we should talk about that and how you could do it in a peaceful way. And because, as I said, nations and societies could change by better ideas. That's why I have this show, to spread better ideas when it comes to new media, business philosophy, and the good life, including tea. So that's something we should talk about also when we have had this heavy discussion. What do you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, definitely. I'm parched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your it was interesting with your upbringing and where you're coming from. So when you said this now, what do you say? Jewish, and what's more, it was
Jewish.
Nigerian saxophone player. Yeah. And Khaled, so what kind of beverage did you have in your childhood and upbringing at your home?
I used to have a cup of tea. I grew up with tea. You know, I think it was Yorkshire. My mum's from Leeds, so it was that Yorkshire one. I don't drink tea. You're from where?
Yeah. Originally I'm from Leeds.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I am. I was born and raised in Kirkstall near Burley, and then from there we moved to Hawksworth and then to Cookridge, and then I moved down to Sheffield when I moved in with Andy.
Wow.
I've been in Sheffield for about 2.5 years now, but yeah, for the majority of my life, I'd grown up in Leeds. Yeah.
Wow.
So what do you drink? Because I know that you are now in Europe, Sydney. So what do you drink in this part of the world?
I drink. I'm a kind of little bit of a health nut. I sort of drink herbal teas. Like I love making peeling ginger and boiling ginger until it gets really spicy and golden. And then I'll put some kind of like raspberry herb tea and lemon. And I like to have that in the morning, and kind of this thing called Epicure. I put that powder in there. So I love herbal teas actually.
That's interesting. And as I said, I have 2 podcasts, one in Swedish and one in English. And when we talk about the tea, that was coined by Carl von Linné, and he even covered it, that it's from the tea plant Camellia sinensis. So that's you could say it's a flower family. So if you have herbs and others, that's like infusion.
Yes.
So the tea has to come from the tea plants. But I know in daily speaking, you talk about herbal tea or spice tea or something like that, or even rooibos, you call it tea, but that's That's a plant, the red bush from South Africa. It's a different kind, but it could be like an alternative or something that's good together with tea also. So that's my interest. So it's interesting to hear about your health beverages there. Yeah.
Well, I love how in England it's always, when I grew up, it's always like, oh, let's have, let's talk about it and have a cup of tea, that whole culture. Yeah. So I did grow up like that. I just like eventually got, I think there's something, is it tannin in tea?
Yes, it's tannin in wine.
Oh, is it wine? Okay, wait. Okay, so Freudian slip.
But there's something you have is of course caffeine or tea, but you could have this tannin is this from the wine grapes. So that's the how to say the shell? No, the outside the grape. So that's what getting. Some people like it, and it's a quiet taste. It's on your tongue. It's getting a bit sticky or something like that. That's the tannin. But you probably have some similar things in tea also. You have one thing that Jonathan distributed was the how to make a great matcha, the green powder tea. That's the tradition in Japan. And that's pulverized tea leaves. So you get all the good stuff in the tea leaves. And they have studied an experiment on the tea leaves, what's in it. And you have all kind of, similar to wine, flavonoids and other good things in it. So that could be one thing that maybe you have some, reactions to or something like that. Sydney?
Oh, hold on a second. I'm having a technical difficulty. Hold on.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Making a brew.
The tape is rolling. That's okay.
Oh, okay. There we
go. A brew.
Okay, you came back. Yes.
Good.
I have a low warning on my phone, so just let you guys know.
Yeah. So we will wrap it up here. So what's in your in the future here, and what's something that you would say at the end, Sydney, where the listener could find you on the interwebs?
Yes, you can find me usually at Haywoode Music on all the socials, which Jonathan will provide. Thank you, Jonathan. And then on YouTube, I believe it's Haywoode Official. And I'm new with YouTube with my own channel.
Yep.
So and then more music. There's going to be music out I'm going to be putting music out very frequently, and you can find me on Spotify, which also I'm new with, and that's a lot of fun. So I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you.
Great to hear. Thanks for your time, and thanks for, as I said, conversation and learning about a new artist here. So, and thanks again, Jonathan, for connecting. So do you have anything ending words here, Jonathan?
Well, I was just going to say the teas that I'm actually drinking at the moment as well, because I didn't.
Yeah.
Change it all the time.
Good.
Fruit teas are something that I quite like. Andy got me into drinking fruit tea. Yeah, the ones that I'm drinking at the minute is Twinings, blackcurrant and blueberry, M&S, sting blueberry, pomegranate and acai berry, and Twinings, cranberry and
That's interesting. You said acai or acai berry, because that's a superfruit, and I'm exploring a new fruit, superfruit here called Macquarie berry. That's in Chile and so on, South America. But it's very potent and have good properties. So it's fascinating how you. Yeah,
I'm going to say I am intrigued by the number of berries that I've actually come across since drinking tea, and I'd love to know what an acai berry looked like, because I've never looked at it. So
it's almost like because I sold that as a distributor, the pure acai or acai berry. So it's almost looked like a blueberry, but it's a bit tart and bit. It's how it looks. So. Acai or acai berry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. So thanks again for the chat.
Thank you.
And talk to you soon
again. See you on Twitter.